All right, Matt, I don't know if you have any more specific keys and key matchups in this one, but I would like you to paint the picture of what a Lions victory looks like, and it probably wouldn't look a lot different than the way the way the Lions have won a lot of games this year.
No, Brian, I think first and foremost, this team just has to continue to move the football down the field and have that explosive offense do what they do. You're talking about Jared Goff coming back to the Bay Area, of course, always loves doing that, wants to kind of get that monkey off his back in San Francisco. I know he's had some success in the past against the Niners when he was with the Rams, but again, taste in their mouth is a bad one from last year, and they want to go out there in that same stadium and win. So if they're continuing to spread the football around, whether it's St. Brown, whether it's Jamison Williams on a deep ball, whether it's Sam Laporta, Gibbs in the backfield, and now they showed some depth this past week with the injury to Montgomery, where Craig Reynolds got some touches and Sione Vaki. So they're using everybody. So I think number one, it's just keep the offense on the field and keep doing what they're doing, which is putting up 30 a game and leading the league. Number two is that Brock Purdy factor from a year ago. They allowed him to scramble way too much in that second half and get the Niners back into that game and obviously ahead to win. Limiting kind of those scramble drill plays with Purdy where it's that 3rd and 11 and they've got him bottled up and all of a sudden he goes for 17. That cannot happen. This past week, the Lions did a great job staying in their lanes on Caleb Williams, pressured him. He had a decent second half and had a couple of nice balls. The stats were kind of inflated, but for the most part, didn't let him run wild. Not that that's something Caleb does, but we saw Purdy do it in the NFC title game. So I think if those things come to fruition, I think the Lions will win. And I got them at 27-17 this week. What about you?
Yeah, I don't like the way this looks for the 49ers with where they're at. Everything's just been a little bit too difficult for the 49ers, and you play against a powerhouse offense like the Detroit Lions. At this point, I can't project that the 49ers would just score enough points to win. So they're going to need some help. They're going to need some funny things to happen. They're going to need a Jared Goff interception. They're going to need a Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. They're going to need a pick six. They're going to need a Deebo Samuel kickoff return for a touchdown. I think that's really the path for the 49ers right now, because I don't think they can stand toe to toe with good football teams with the way they're put together and the way they're playing football, and things are just too difficult. And if the Lions are putting up 30 points, I can't imagine the 49ers get there. And they would have to keep this game low scoring, get a little bit of help, get some turnovers. It'd have to be that kind of game, I think, for the 49ers, be able to run the ball a little bit. You might see a little wide back with Deebo Samuel in the backfield, and they would have to obviously make some big plays there and obviously not turn over the ball themselves. So, I think it would take some doing. And to be honest with you, Matt, when I look at this line, I was surprised how low it is. I think it should be more than 4 points. And I know the 49ers have a really strong contingency of people who put money on them. And so their lines might sometimes be skewed in their favor a little bit. I feel like this should be a touchdown line, right? The Lions should go in and win this game. And the way you put it out there too, the picture you paint of a team that has a chip on their shoulder, on top of it, little extra fight. That sounds like a potentially a big win for the Lions against the San Francisco 49ers. And really the 49ers have been the opposite team that they've been in that NFC Championship game last year against the Lions, because they've been a team that cannot come back in the fourth quarter. They've been a team that cannot close anybody out in the fourth quarter. So if the Lions have any kind of a lead, that's something that's going to grow in the fourth quarter, not the other way around. And if the Niners have a lead going into the fourth quarter, unless it's like a 3-touchdown lead, I don't think 49ers fans would even feel that was safe.
It's crazy to think that San Francisco has already been eliminated here, as we got 2 more games to go in that division where Arizona's like, I don't want it. Seattle, you take it. Seattle's like, we don't want it either. Now all of a sudden it looks like it's the Rams. So it's been a wild year, certainly. Do you think the Niners play hard? Do you think now that they've been officially eliminated that there could be some guys mailing it in this week?
I would worry about that. Last week, I was surprised because they were actually eliminated just before kickoff because of the Washington outcome and I don't remember what the other game was. I think it was the Rams win or something that already sealed their fate. And so they still played hard, and there was still some, despite the offensive line not playing great, and despite losing that game, there was big performances, and Brock Purdy played pretty well, except for some problems at the end and unfortunate turnover late. Debo Samuel had his best game of the year, breaking tackles, looking like vintage Debo. George Kittle was really good. There were some really good individual performances, and guys were out there playing hard. And I just don't think – I think that's one thing that you can always bank on with the 49ers, and it's really the reason that they've hit on so many late-round picks and some of these guys. It's because of the way they're wired. Like Talanoa Hufanga is not going to shut it down. He's going to be a wild man. Nick Bosa is always going to play hard. He's got a motor that's not going to stop. Brock Purdy has a lot of guts. He's not a guy that's going to lay down, and George Kittle's definitely wired the same way. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of quit in the 49ers, but I could see a game that starts to get out of hand for them, and then it's just like, okay. And the Niners at some point have to start seeing some other players and finding out who wants to be a part of the next team in 2025. So I think you might start seeing some changes with the 49ers saying, okay, Fred, you're playing on a broken ankle. Let's go get surgery on that. So you're not like, oh, he's still healing up on July 27th. You want to get that squared away. So, I think maybe from the top down, they might start looking at things. But I do think that the 49ers have a lot of players, and I can't speak for all 53 guys on the roster, but they're not the type of guys that are going to shut it down. So I think there is going to be a lot of feeling within the organization that this team, just all they need to do is run it back. And maybe that's the wrong feeling, because I think sometimes that is the wrong feeling. But I think that's the vibe around the organization. We had the injury bug hit us. Let's add a few pieces and run it back.
All right, Brian. Well, we'll see what happens on Monday night, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Monday Night Football. I expect a big Lions win. It's not enough points. You're scaring me the more I hear you talk about the chip on the shoulder from this Lions team.
They want this game, man. It was just like last year when they got screwed in Dallas, and they went down to Dallas and put up, almost a 50 burger on the Cowboys. They want this one. So regardless of what Minnesota does the day before.
It reminds me of last year. We saw the 49ers do this to the Philadelphia Eagles, because they were mad about what happened in the previous NFC Championship game. They didn't have a quarterback, and they said this would have gone differently. And they went out on the field and proved how differently it would have gone. And if you get that sort of Lions football team out there, this could really get away from the San Francisco 49ers. This is the least confident I've been in a 49ers game coming into it this year, partly because of the way the 49ers are playing, but partly because who's on the other side in the Detroit Lions.